Yesterday afternoon, or I guess it would be like the early evening for old Uncle Joe, he decided to roll out after I've seen a couple of different numbers. 78 days since his first solo press conference, and you know what? I couldn't really recap that one. And then even before that, I don't even remember the last time he hopped up to the podium by himself to deliver remarks and take some incredibly softball questions. I made remarks about one yesterday about, oh, okay, yeah, you've had a blunder of epic proportions during your first year. Did you set expectations just maybe a little bit too high for people? It's like that was the quality of pushback he got after I guess it was like 20-30 minutes of I've done really good things during my first year of being president, but yeah, nobody's buying this shit, and nobody's really paying attention because I know I'm gonna do this out of a labor of love, and nobody's really gonna give a shit because whenever you put Joe in the thumbnail or in the title or anything like that, it gets pushed off a cliff. Okay, nobody cares about what Joe Biden does, okay? Nobody finds him popular. Nobody wants him to run again in 2024. But 81 million people apparently voted for this, okay? Like, even, just take that at its face value, okay? Like, you guys know my opinion on that, and I can't state it fully on this fucking worthwhile platform, but all of those concerns aside, I remember when the president used to do literally anything, okay, during George W. Bush, okay, he'd have televised press conferences, okay. Obama, yeah, definitely. CNN would be running a fucking puff piece that would make BuzzFeed blush about his choice of tie pin, and especially anything Trump did would make worldwide headlines. But whatever Joe does, it's always coming through some third-party outlet, okay? Like, it comes from Jen Psaki having to clean up his fucking disastrous policy, which he signed at the bottom of, but he didn't write. He didn't really have a hand in. Oh yeah, he went down to meet with Senate Democrats because he was trying to push through something that was never going to work, and he doesn't have the votes because he's, well, really at heart he's a blue dog Democrat, but those ideas are outdated and antiquated for the Democratic Party, so he doesn't even believe the shit that he's trying to push, but he likes being president, or at least the title. He just doesn't want to have to do the work. So when he gets up there and he tries to make these blusterous claims like he's outperformed expectations, nobody believes that. He has no idea why Americans question his mental fitness in rare press conference. Yeah, the reason why people ask you those things is because it's patently fucking obvious. Do you not remember? Okay, maybe that's a bad turn of phrase, especially for Joe. Have you not watched anything that you've done so far as president? It's patently obvious you've fucking fallen off even since you've been inaugurated. This past year has been rough on you, okay? Even when you were all hopped up on fucking goof juice or whatever it was for your first press conference, or even for your inaugural address to the nation, that Joe there could at least finish a scripted speech without stuttering, stammering, and fucking falling through the process. But that's not the case now. Now you just fucking blink and stammer, and yeah, it's sad to see, but you're 78 fucking years old, so it's not really all that unexpected at this point, okay? Because where else in regular life would you hold up any other 78-year-old's comments with any sort of esteem, okay? You're the president. What you're doing matters if you put yourself out there, okay? And you're supposed to be the leader of the free fucking world. You better be able to complete a fucking sentence. You better be able to complete a few sentences, okay? You better be able to string along a coherent narrative in order to get your point across, but that's just not what you're doing, okay? And it's fucking sad, and a year in, nobody's buying it anymore, dude, except for you, I guess. President Joe Biden held a press conference on Wednesday as a nation nears 1 year of his presidency, and it is in fact today, okay? Today at like noon or whatever it was my time, okay? But noon out there on the East Coast. I think that's when he got sworn in a year ago. Thank fucking God, at least one's done. 3 more to go, and that's going to be the most lackadaisical, okay, well, from an opposition standpoint, because everything else going forward now for 2022, you got the midterms to worry about. We'll be talking about those shortly, later today, perhaps. And then, okay, for 2023, and then you start to have all the talk of primaries, and then 2024 is basically just reserved for the upcoming election. So you had the full reign, okay? You had every branch of government on your side, and you failed. You failed at every fucking thing you did. Every month you had a list of things that fucked up, okay? You had the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, okay? You had schools continuing to close down, even though you said, oh, I'm gonna keep them open. It's like, you can't, okay? How many bills did you try to push through the House or the Senate that ended up falling flat on his fucking face? How many mass shootings happened under your watch? And how many more people died of the coof that you said that you would lock down and that you single-handedly would be able to stop in comparison to the Orange Man? Under the same time frame, you ended up killing more people, and that was something that you campaigned on, so I will hang that squarely on your slumped shoulders. But everybody's starting to realize that, okay? But we'll take from Biden, okay? He doesn't seem to believe that, or at least that's what at least he thought at that given time. But with that said, in an answer to the first question, if he had overpromised during his first year, he said, hey, that's the one that I keep referencing. I don't think I've overpromised at all, and we'll stay on this track. Oh, God, don't ever make threats like that. That could get you impeached. Biden blamed Republicans. Oh, okay, cool. The ones who are in the severe majority everywhere. You own everything, dude, okay? Or are you just trying to blame the Supreme Court so you can try to pack that this year? That'll be fun. Claiming that they don't stand for anything. Oh, that's projection as a motherfucker. Name me one thing, therefore. I could name you plenty, but you first. You first. And as to his first year in office, he said, we passed a lot. No, you didn't. You barely passed anything in comparison or proportional to what you were asking for. You kept failing, but you said that we passed a lot. I don't know if that's necessarily true. You sure legislated a lot. You sure wrote a lot of executive orders, but all right. We passed a lot of things that people don't even understand, yourself included. Again, there's a lot of projection right here. And that's what... Oh, and that's all that's in it, understandably. Nobody did. After he slammed Republicans, claiming that he didn't know what they were in favor of, a reporter for ABC asked if he was concerned about the two biggest difficulties he faces are from his own party. Yeah, that and his own party and stairs. Those are his two biggest obstacles. He then claimed that Americans overwhelmingly agree with him on a heap of unpopular proposals. Oh, okay, so he just jettisoned reality at this point. Okay, Biden said that he would be out on the road to make the case for practical things the American people have been asking for a long time. Oh, okay, cool. And instead of just running that back over and over again, we got just a nice concise list from the Federalist here. 10 lies that were told during Biden's press conference for the first time in, I think they pointed out as like 78, 73 days, but the nation's problem is COVID. No, cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are all down, but okay, you go for that. Wages are up. No, they aren't. Even in months when wages were up, Americans were forced to dig deeper into their pockets to overcome climbing gas, energy, and grocery bills. So yeah, okay, people, now that they're finally allowed to go back to work, okay, they might be making more money, but when everything costs more, are wages really up? Okay, the money that are in the pockets of these working class people, is that really a positive for them when compared to 2019? Is that what we're looking at here? Biden created jobs. There's something that's just patently false on the face of it, because we've been running back, okay? I don't know if you guys have been noticing or not, but we've been running back the job reports and the unemployment claims month over month over month, and they keep going up. And then when they dip down, they'd be definitely compensated for in the next month. So I don't really know about that, but all right. Biden tried to circumvent the nation's economic turmoil by claiming that he created more jobs to stimulate the economy. He ignored, however, the role the government plays in creating the recession that caused the jobs in the first place, and on the role his own administration played in aligning the pockets of Americans with federal cash. Biden was mum. Yeah, exactly. And don't even mention the unemployment claims, and don't even mention the joblessness claims, and the fact that every fucking small business that wasn't fucking mercy killed over the pandemic has a help wanted sign in the corner of it, okay? Every single business needs fucking people to do the jobs, but nobody's there to fill them. Biden, job creator, right? Yeah, okay, that's why he has to continue to pimp his massive spending policies. Like, oh, we need more shovel-ready jobs. No, we have plenty of jobs in the private sector. Stop making people dependent on the government. The supply chain crisis really isn't that bad. Oh, it's getting better. What? Oh, okay, cool. You failed spectacularly on that since what, November, December, October? I can't even remember how far back it was, but the supply chain crisis is not getting better, and especially whenever they do manage to start to move some of those shipping containers away from Los Angeles, the port of Los Angeles, and then there's the Orange County port as well. They've got to go through Los Angeles, and then they get stopped, and then they get ransacked, and we've talked about that extensively, but it's not that bad, so you don't even have to worry about it. And inflation was already a thing before I took office. Theoretically, in the grand scope of things, yes, inflation was a thing. It has been a concept for a very long time. Ever since the first economic was economics, there has been inflation. But to say that you've done fine with inflation and then you're just merely riding the wave that was already cresting before you took office is just patently false. It is verifiably false, in fact. Biden just falsely claims, this is a tweet from the House Republicans, falsely claimed that inflation has been increasing over the past decade. No. In fact, they've got the numbers there. It looks like there's been a steady increase, and you could even point to the years where you were still in a big office, but there's one that definitely jumps off the page there. Okay, 3% in 2021. Okay, it troughs down at 0.7% in 2015, the last full year you were vice president, and then everything relatively speaking, everything's 2%, and then 1.4% in 2020 when the shit was real bad, and then it rebounded in 2021, the first full year, okay? Unless you want to say Trump was dive bombing the economy just in the lead up for you taking office at the middle of January. I don't know if that's really a claim that you can make with a straight face, but if you don't know what you're saying, I guess that's something that you can claim. Republicans want to steal minorities' rights to vote. We'll be talking about that in the next video, like I said before, but very spicy claims that he's making there about the upcoming massacre at the midterm elections, but schools aren't closed. Strange thing about that. As far as I know, okay, San Francisco's still closed down. They're still in virtual learning, okay? Chicago Teachers Union, I don't even know if they've turned on the computers yet, or if they're still bitching and moaning about my Omicron, oh my god, my sniffles, but you say we're not going back to closing schools. You said that just moments ago, yet they are closing in some areas. What do you say to those teachers and principals and parents about closing schools? One reporter asked. And what can your administration do to make up for the learning loss for students? Nothing. Just keep them in schools longer. Just pay for community college and keep them on the government dole for like ever, okay? First of all, I put in perspective the question you asked. Very few schools are closing. 95% are still open. Actually, we're going to go for a little bit of a deeper dive on this one because I care about public schools and the fact that they're fucking garbage, and more people should know about that. But 3,500 schools are closed. Okay, that seems like a lot. Okay, it might fall within the purview of 95%, but I'm keeping schools open. Not all of them are open, but I'm keeping them open. Why? Last week, 7,030 closed for the same reason. That as of right now, 3,430 schools are closed right now. Earlier in the press conference, Biden admitted the Omicron is not a cause for panic. But he said that COVID's wait, what? Okay, none of this is making sense, but that's Joe Biden's just a daily life at this point. President went on to say they have the tools to keep the schools open, including vaccines, boosters, masks, tests, pills. But it's those goddamn teachers unions. If you could only just get around that. But like I said, he's still out there trying to pimp that if I take and spend more of your money, Americans are going to save money because they'll have less disposable income because I'll have more of it and I'm better at it than you. I've been doing this longer than you. Whatever. Biden repeated the lie that his Build Back Better legislative package would actually lower or reduce inflation. That's a lie. Okay, would he also be stupid enough to say that it costs $0? Who knows? And who cares? If you hold a press conference and nobody's around to hear it, do you really actually deliver the presser? White House reporters are the most informed Americans of all time. Do we even need to read any further? I didn't compare my Democrat colleagues to racist. And again, we're going to be talking about this very shortly, but just a little bit of an overview and to give you a little bit of insight on this one. Biden denied that he compared to Democrat filibuster holdouts, Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, to Confederate leaders. No, you did. And I remember going over this one, okay? So I did not say that we're going to be George Wallace or Bull Connor, Biden claimed. I said we're going to have a decision in history. Oh, sorry about that. It's a weird thing about the modern day. Everything's caught on camera. Everything's caught on video. Everything is annotated and the transcripts are readily available. So just last week, however, Biden asked, do you want to be on the side of Dr. King or George Wallace? Do you want to be on the side of John Lewis, whose name is on the voting rights bill? So you know it's got to be good, right? Or Bull Connor? Do you want to be on the side of Abraham Lincoln, who I debated about a year and change ago? Or Jefferson Davis? That is the moment to decide to defend our elections, to defend our democracy. If you do that, you will not be alone. Okay, cool. It sounds like a comparison right there, but yeah, so that's just 10. That's just simply 10 lies, 10 mistruths. Maybe he just misspoke. Oh, that's just Joe being Joe. That's just one of those classic Biden gaffes, right? Right? No, Trump sees through it. Okay, because Trump released a very brief little statement there, and it's brief because it gets right to the point. How come Biden picks a reporter or picks reporters off of a list because he doesn't know who they are and they're around, he's around them so infrequently that he just really can't put a name to a face because he doesn't take questions, okay? And when he's asked questions, he just fucking pieces out. So he needs a list on, okay? Level with him on this one. He's old. He's frail. That's why you guys could only have 2 debates, even though prior to the second debate, you ended up, because the second one got called off because he had the coof, and then you tested negative for the coof thanks to the treatment that you received from Walter Reed Medical. And it could have definitely happened, and you guys just ended up holding separate town halls. But anyways, no, he's old and he's frail. You just got to give him this one, okay, Don? Don't go too hard on him. Save up your energy for 2024. It's going to be fucking great. In all cases, softball questions, and then reads the answer. I would never have been allowed to get away with that, nor would I have to, because I have all the answers. And over the past weekend, I don't know if it really fits in here anywhere, but he gave the first rally of 2022 in, I think, a suburb of Phoenix, but he was out there in Arizona, and spicy comments were made. Spicy comments were delivered to thousands of people, something that Biden would have to, if he was going to have thousands of people attend his rallies, he would have to go to multiple places and deliver multiple rallies and keep a running total of people that attended, because nobody cares, Joe. Nobody cares. And even your biggest cheerleaders at this point are starting to turn on you. The normally supine, that means they lie down on their back to get fucked by the Biden administration, by the way. Media lashes Biden for bumbling press conference. It wasn't just me, okay? And remember, I didn't watch this, okay? I just ran through some of the highlights that were on there, and he was stuttering, stammering, blinking even more than usual. It means that some things aren't fucking firing in there anymore. And there was a couple of other things in that list of 10 that weren't brought up, okay? Mostly because they weren't really lies. It was just the fact that Russia looks like they're saber rattling with one of my home countries, okay? One of the motherlands of my heritage out there, Ukraine. It looks like they might be doing something because Ukraine has a funny leader, and Putin is, well, he's going to Putin. So if anybody gives him the green light, which Biden might have inadvertently done that, mostly because the answer to his question wasn't really written down, or his eyes were just deceiving him on the teleprompter and he couldn't quite read off his prescripted response. But looks like he's off his rocker, even more so. And even the media is like, listen, we tried to prop you up for your fucking year, but you're tanking our ratings. Nobody's taking us seriously. Even like the lagging approval rating that we had before, okay, it's even taking a further nosedive. So sorry, Joe, there's nothing we can do. Okay, that's why they're moving on to another also ran, but more on that at the end of this. And we're getting close to that, okay, because I don't want to belabor this point any further, but mainstream media outlets are seizing on President Biden's lengthy Wednesday press conference, accusing the commander-in-chief, which I still can't believe we're doing this even a year after the fact, of failing to turn around the perception of his administration. Wall Street Journal editorial board said he failed to offer a course correction to a year plagued by soaring inflation, foreign policy crisis, and record low approval in the polls. I think it's in the 20s now at this point. It's fucking abysmal. Washington Post, literally, they have fucking Biden pom-poms out there, but they can't even hide it anymore. Could not deny the aggressive stance he took against Republicans on the subject of voting rights and accusing them of holding up his agenda. Yeah, really does suck to suck. CNN host Dana Bash, the one with the fucking flat horse face, she's a sturdy girl. Said that I'm already seeing in my text exchange with people around the president clean up aisle in the State Department. Yeah, a lot of people have to run cover for this fucking old fossil because he really did just walk down those, well, I would say he walked down the supermarket shelves with just arms akimbo, just knocking things off, but thanks to Joe Biden, there's nothing on those shelves, so he was just kind of like a toddler, okay, or just kind of like Joe in the modern day, just shitting his pants, taking out a handful, wiping it on the walls, and go, that. Questions? That's about the extent of this press conference. So Dana Bash at CNN couldn't hold it back. Van Jones, okay, you remember Mr. White Lash from 2016 saying the exact same stuff. It's like, we can't even fucking take this guy seriously anymore. So what is Joe doing in response? Well, exactly what he's done for not a quarter of his weekends, not a quarter of his holidays, okay, but a quarter of his presidency has been spent in Delaware. Okay, it's a joke. It's something that I say towards the end of the week. The content here on the channel is that Joe Biden, he's not going to take any questions over the weekend. Okay, it doesn't matter if there's no power in Texas. It doesn't matter if there's a hurricane running up the East Coast. It doesn't matter if there's an immigration crisis at the border. Joe has got to hop on a fucking Marine One, Air Force One, what the fuck ever, okay, and land it at one of his mansions out there in Delaware. And the proof is in the pudding. Spent a quarter of the time of him being president out there. Like, that doesn't even line up, okay? That's just like extended weekends, but he's doing a good job. He's outperforming his own expectations. So I guess he didn't anticipate surviving as long as he has. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki has again defended the administration's decision not to release visitor logs from President Joe Biden's homes in Delaware. If they're going to bang on about Trump not releasing his text records, okay, what about those visitor logs, Delaware, huh? If you're doing, because he said in multiple occasions, or people have on his behalf, that he's performing official tasks out there at his home in Delaware, the American people deserve to know who's out there helping him out, okay? Because I'm sure everything's on the up and up. I'm sure he's just taking meetings with important people, and he just wants to do it in the seclusion. He wants a quiet backdrop because the Oval Office just isn't roomy enough for Joe. He needs multiple acres in order to get his head clear, right? In order to just play Mario Kart with his granddaughter. A New York Post reporter asked Psaki at a White House press conference briefing Tuesday if the administration would reconsider its policy to not release visitor log information from the president's Wilmington and Rehoboth, beach residents. Oh, he's got a house on the beach. Of course he does. Joe's been a man of the people for 47 years, so of course he has a massive mansion in Wilmington and then a tiny little beach house, okay? Not as good as Bernie Sanders. You should just chill a little bit harder, my dude. Well, the president goes to Delaware because it's his home. Nobody asked that. They asked about visitor logs, okay? And it's also where his son... Which one? The one that has documented dealings with Ukraine, with China, with Russia, with the mayor of Moscow's wife, where he took $3.5 million in a payoff that you have yet to really answer for. But yeah, no, that son still lives at home. Isn't he on like his third wife and his 15th stripper? Now he's raw dogged in a hotel room that's all documented on video footage. Okay, cool. And his former wife are buried. Oh, okay, cool. So again, you're trying to drum up sympathy, but just answer the question, stupid. And it's a place that is obviously close to his heart. Again, answer the fucking question. Circle back to it at some point. Well, she doesn't. A lot of presidents go to their home when they are president. Yes, obviously. That's within your right. That's within your purview. But you just got to answer why he's there so much. And if he's being president at those places, who's he meeting with? Who's he calling? And if he's performing the tasks of being a president, why is that none of the business of the American people who he's purportedly there to serve? Because I'm not just going to be a president for Democrats. I'm going to be a president for all Americans, except a quarter of the time when I'm out in Delaware. White House visitor logs are available online, but he's barely there. Okay, he's literally everywhere else. Camp David. Okay, taking plane rides to Europe. Okay, going to meet with the G7 people. Okay, he's meeting with a lot of fucking people out there. He's holding council meetings in Russia, out there in China. He's meeting a bunch of people. I don't think he's been to China yet. I don't want to mischaracterize his activities, but he's literally everywhere else except for the White House. So it's not really all that important. And then having the visitor logs from the White House available, cool. Thanks. There's a lot of other people that also operate out of the White House. So again, answer the fucking question. He also stated in August that the administration would not be releasing Delaware visitor logs, saying, "I can confirm we're not going to be providing information about the comings and goings of the president's grandchildren nor people visiting him in Delaware." Misdirecting cunt. So yeah, literally it's getting harder and harder to run fucking cover for this geriatric without a clue, okay? That's why the Democrats are simping once again. I know it's hard to look at, but still, just bear with me for a moment. They're still trying to run Hillary Clinton. I've been talking about it a lot because I'm just about certain it's going to happen. I've got an inkling. Okay, I'm not going to say it's an overwhelming feeling that she's going to be running again, but if Biden continues on this steep downward trajectory, especially in the polls, especially if he doesn't do something for literally all Americans like he says that he's trying to do or says that he has, depending on the day he might think that he has or not. But if he continues on this track, it's going to be somebody replacing him, okay? Whether he steps down or whether he's told that he's going to be stepping down and that he can just spend as much time as he wants, those other 3/4 of the time that he's not in Delaware, he can go and spend out there at his leisure. He can sit and just enjoy his final days with his grandchildren, which I hope are numerous and plenty outside of the White House. And he can just let the first female president once again, okay, she's made that claim all of those years ago on Twitter. Congratulations to the first, well, rather it was happy birthday to the first and future president of the United States. Yes, you know, we're talking about Hillary Clinton. Ugh, it burns to say, but she's going to be running again in 2024 because now you got CNN once again simping, okay? We've talked about multiple outlets in the past couple of weeks, and okay, she's been raising her profile, okay? She's been giving more interviews, she's been sharing her victory speeches, just meaning that she's probably restocking the shelves for another one again, which once again have to tear up in a drunken, tearful rage before just walking out for another impromptu concession speech the next day. But would she be better than Joe? You know what? Yes, she's also younger, okay? She is still, as Biden, or not as Biden put it, okay, because Obama doesn't like Biden. As Obama put it, she's the most qualified person I've ever seen run for president, including myself. She's the best. So yeah, Wall Street Journal talked about it. Hills talked about it. Now CNN simping for it. Now we ain't going to be running down all of this stuff. I just want to take a little bit of a highlight because this one just runs all the way back. Okay, it's like, oh no, Hillary Clinton's been primed for this for literally ever. Okay, she's been out there since 1992, 1994, 1979, 1942, and she was talking with another flamboyant leader. Now, here's all you need to know, the last couple of paragraphs. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote in 2016 by roughly 2.9 million. Yet Donald Trump reached the White House thanks to the curious institution known as the Electoral College, which you guys were simping super fucking hard for when Mitt Romney, I wouldn't say almost knocked off, but got close to taking your lauded popular vote in 2012. Sorry, fucking brain aneurysm. Had a Biden moment there for a second. But they just think that mob rule would be such a better system, that if this damn dastardly electoral college, if all of those hillbillies in the middle of the country just didn't have as much of a say as the major cities, which are overwhelmingly blue, by the way, if they just had a say, oh my god, the country would be in such a better shape. Joe Biden would be Democrats would own the Senate. They would own the oh, wait a minute, everything would be exactly like it is right now. It's almost like the checks and balances of the Electoral College are there for a reason, for better or for worse, depending on your political affiliation. But a straight vote of just whoever gets the most out of a huge swath of people, okay, across the United States, okay. The only reason why popular vote is the way that governors are elected is because they know what is best for their state, and the states are divided up in an appropriate size, which is geographically, economically sound within the borders of those four sides of each state. So, as retarded as direct democracy really is at the end of the day, because it's always going back to that old quote, it's democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on who is, or rather, what's going to be for dinner. So yeah, okay, yeah, Clinton won Los Angeles, New York City, both places that have just been run exceptionally well these past few years. Chicago as well, throw it in the same fucking bucket, please, and then into the ocean. But yeah, if you think that the interest of those three cities would somehow reflect the will of the entire country, you're out of your fucking tree, okay? And that's why they're pushing so hard for election overhaul bills, which are just another incredible disaster. And I guess the first one that you can chalk up for Biden in 2022, because if you thought 2021 was bad, 2022 is just going to be the same, just with less fucking support everywhere. So let's talk about those voting election bills up next. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.